Welcome to All Aboard with Ned.
Hey, by the way, while you guys are here, I'd like to introduce you to my mother. Those are her ashes.
Adam.
And all my notes are on my laptop, which I don't have with me, so we're good.
And LK.
Showing who the boss is. Choo choo, motherfuckers. How you guys doing? Good evening. This is another episode of All Aboard with Ned,
How you doing?
Adam,
Calling from a car.
What's going on, boys? Shalom.
Shalom.
Calling from the car.
Yeah, how's your week?
Adam in a
How's your
car.
week so far?
For me,
go.
I guess
Yeah.
I'll start with I mean my week's been good. I'm in Cape Cod, as you can see. I'm taking this from the car right now. I mean, listen, the week's been busy. I've been ignoring my in-laws by working the whole time. But I mean, right now, I just what matters in this world other than the drop from this morning.
Yeah, hold on. Before we talk about that, shout out to my buddy Jason, Respect the Box from Marlboro. He gave me this hat.
There we go.
He kind of
I love it.
he kind of challenged me, and he said, "Hey, if I give you a, what's that, captain's hat, would you wear it on the show?"
Engineer's hat.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So thank you, Jason.
Love
Yeah,
it.
and then we can
Love
talk
it.
about Kirk. How was your morning? I mean, I couldn't sleep last night.
It was.
sick.
I caught up a little later because I was away yesterday when the news dropped.
Yeah.
And when it did, though, I was like 8 a.m. What? And so of course I immediately started diving into like various chats and the conjecture, the prognostication, the what ifs, scenarios were amazing. I didn't realize that I didn't think it was going to be, I'm quitting, I'm walking away. I just thought it was going to be an update. Like, hey guys, thanks for your patience. Things are going better, but I still need some more time. I'll see you in September, something like that.
Yeah.
I did not expect the opening, which was great. And then I knew something was up. Something good was up when he did that. And I think, what was it? The 5-minute mark of 17 minutes. He said, I'll see you Monday.
Yeah.
And that was the best news you could hear, right?
I was celebrating so much, but I went through like so many emotions the day before, like, is he gonna retire?
Right.
Is he doing well? What is he being up to? Like, is it Steve and Mike playing, trick?
Yeah, that too, right? Yep. Yep.
So many emotions. And then when I heard his voice, this morning was great. It was a great feeling. And I think at the end of the day, what's important is this: he's feeling well.
Correct.
He's in a good place, I believe.
Yep.
And he's ready to, do the show. I think it's bad day, Mike. He praised
What
Steve.
is going to happen there?
Yeah,
I mean, that threw me for a loop too, because Mike doesn't like me anymore for some reason. He thinks I have a scumbag vibe, according to him. But I like the guy. I like him very much. I think he's an integral part of the show.
Yep.
But that blew me away because I didn't think he was too bad while Kirk was gone. So I was like, whoa.
And honestly, like, I've been listening to previous episodes, like July, August last year.
Yeah,
and
me too.
You can feel a difference on Mike. When he started, it seemed like he felt so much more comfortable. Like, his confidence was so much higher than now. I wonder that as he started working more with Kirk, and Kirk like shooting those, like jabs at him, mess with his confidence.
Right.
Because I don't think Kirk thinks he's bad. I don't think Kirk thinks he sucks. But I think Mike is the one that's self-sabotaging him, by think that's true. And then, listen to the first weeks that he was like, full-time, even before he got hired by Barstool. Like, he was participating much more. It was a different dynamic. And, I don't know, it's just a...
Well, he came from he was doing podcasting, he had the radio show on EEI. So I think he came in with a different brand, different following or audience, if you want. Had to take a second, a second chair, which he was fine with. I think it's kind of the opposite. I think that he was too much of the Robin Quivers, laughing at everything Kirk said, kind of forced, forced laughter. but then he does self-sabotage, and it's poor, pitiful Mike. He wants to be a stand-up comedian. He sucks. He can't get anything right. He has an incredible impairment, right? That he has to work with and work through every day. And then most of his private life is completely on the table and exposed, right?
Just to give a sense to our listeners that may not know the show, right?
That's true.
Minifan is a very famous, Boston personality. Blind Mike is his sidekick, who happens to be actually blind. So his impairment's real. Just wanted to level set with our listeners.
Correct.
To make sure they know what's going on. Right.
We're on the Kirk Minifan Network and hosted by DEC's RSS feed, for which we should shout out. Thank you very much, DEC.
Thank you, DEC. You're a perfect. You're a perfect. We love you.
And actually, really good and informative interview with Adam Minifan. When was that? I dropped 2 days ago. I think, or maybe it was yesterday. Yeah, very good.
I don't even. I'm lost.
Yeah.
And just to wrap up, I don't want to be talking about Mike. Sometimes even our Adam here is funnier than Mike. So Mike should just give up on stand-up comedy.
So we don't know we don't know what's gonna happen for Mike on Monday, but we do know Kirk is coming back. And like you said, from the top, the minute he opened the mic, I knew things were going to be better. I knew that he has to be in a better place, or he's faking it, but I don't think he'd fake it. He doesn't have to, right? It seems that after this morning, he has the complete backing and support of Dave and of Erica, which is great. He went out of his way to say to compliment them both. At the top, it's been fantastic, their support. So we don't have to worry about that. I think a lot of the questions, like, did Mike and Steve get paid, and how long would they let Kirk go? A lot of this stuff is such. A lot of the gossipy shit on Twitter or in chat groups is really just either anxiety, like manifesting itself through gossip, or maybe wishful thinking. I don't know, or looking to stir up shit. So
and I mean,
I'm back.
What's up, Adam?
But one of the
you guys.
One of the lost tribes of Israel has returned, so we're all happy.
Well, first of all, there's never been a time when I'll defend him. There's never been a time where I've ever been funnier than Mike. But I agree with.
Oh, that has been. It's not on camera.
Adam, that's not true. Adam, that's not true.
We're fucking back, baby.
Yeah,
we are back.
He's fucking back. I had myself mentally ready to not have another show, or to have, once a week or a few times a week, or, some modification. But he is fucking back. And Ned, you said it. He sounded good. He sounded clear. He sounded, with it. And, I listened back to the other show when he came back, in March, when it was just him and Steve, and he had the same type of tenor and tempo. But having Steve there, I think, added a little extra, just something, it wasn't as personal and raw. Today felt so much more personal, felt so much more raw, felt so much more just Kirk talking to the Minifans. And if I can go and LK, put your fucking graphic right here. Here's where the graphic is going to go, okay?
Tangent.
The fucking fighting and bullshit. And I know Kirk said a little bit, he said, hey, just fucking figure it out.
Figure it out. Yeah.
He's right. But ultimately, I mean, what the hell are we doing? I mean, Kirk has given so much to us. He has given us this world. He has given us everything. And this is what we do when he's not here for a month. And it's bullshit to say that just because Kirk isn't here for a month, that we all shouldn't, that's an excuse for everyone to act like fucking assholes. And ultimately, I know that there were some people who, after my Twitter rants the other day or last night, were saying back to me, oh, listen, this is what do you expect? Were you born yesterday? This is the internet. This is fuck that. We're adults. This is a podcast. Just like Kirk said, this is a comedy podcast. None of us should take ourselves seriously. None of us fucking matter for anything. Not you, LK, not you, Ned, not me. None of us matter. None of us count for anything except for Kirk.
You get this tip from Kirk on via DM or what?
No. he just let me know that it was okay to put my kids to bed a little early tonight,
Okay.
and that I could
Are
do
you
this.
done with your
No,
temper
but
tantrum?
oh God, I mean, I am so jacked up that he's back. Was
Yeah.
so
All right.
happy. Was so excited to hear it. But
I
I mean,
just
I'm so fucking sick and tired of going on Twitter and just seeing all this fucking bullshit. People, we're adults. This is a fucking podcast. If you don't like me, for example, a lot of people don't. If you don't like me, don't watch this. But you know what? Why would someone then turn around and think that it makes their cock any bigger if they fucking destroy my life, my wife, my kids, whatever? And no one's coming at me. But like,
Right.
obviously, I'm talking about manners right now. But I mean, it's
Yeah.
just for fuck's sake, go after the people that matter. The people who actually do bad things. Go after Shirley. Go after Bob. Go after the Globe. If you want to go after someone because your fucking cock is 2 inches and you think it'll add another 2 inches, then fucking do it. But why go after the good people in our world who we're all supposed to be a fucking group? And we are a fucking Minute family. I don't care if
Damn.
that sounds pathetic. We are all connected.
yeah. I mean,
That's my rant.
This is Israel,
all I'm gonna
June 1st through the 6th, 1967, baby.
Seriously.
Full assault. I love it.
when is Sabbath? Is Sabbath starting now? Like, can Adam shut up for a few
No.
minutes?
Seriously. Fuck.
So,
But I'm just so excited.
well,
He's back.
all I'm gonna say is like it's shitty what people are doing to manners. Like,
It is.
I think it's super.
And
No,
Corona.
not it's uncalled for. It's
Mhm.
not necessary. The guy's just having fun as everyone else. But I just want to wrap up.
Yep.
The Kirk coming back. Obviously, everyone's excited. I'm excited. Adam's
Yep.
obviously exciting. But
Clearly, my Adderall
people
wore off.
people criticizing Mike and Steve for not putting content out. Like, imagine, like, this is the Kirk Mini Hang show. This is the Kirk Mini Hang RSS feed. It's not fucking by Mike and Steve. So I don't blame them for not putting content out. I don't know what's going on with Steve. Mike kind of alluded that he was going through his personal shit. Kirk kind of joked that Mike could have done more in terms of content, but Steve's a producer. He's not a content person. I don't think it's part of his job description to make content. So I'm glad for what they did, and the show must go on. And Kirk's back, and fuck the the
Fucking
criticism.
drama.
Like, if you want to criticize with facts, and justify is one thing. But just say, "Oh, Mike and Steve are lazy." That's bullshit criticism. It's not constructive feedback.
Right. Okay. And then we'll move on. But I kind of feel the opposite, LK. I think that obviously when the teacher leaves the room without a substitute teacher, the classroom gets into a fight and goes crazy. So with Kirk being out, I do think, and it didn't have to be every day, but I do think, and Steve is a content guy. He would step in for Howie Carr on a nationally syndicated radio program.
What's his title? He's executive producer.
I agree. Correct. But
am I saying he's bad at content? No, but it's not his job.
It's not his job. But I think
in
a time of crisis,
he still does that.
But my argument though is in a time of crisis, who could have stepped up? And it's not a criticism of Steve, but I'm just thinking, had we had 3 days a week of an hour show 3 times a week, 3 hours for the whole week of Steve and Mike, not Mike and Steve and Mike. I want SC Robinson, right?
Oh yeah, everyone.
I could take it. I can take an hour of SC and Mike just to fill the gap that might have maybe given enough of a taste.
But again, Ed, I think they alluded many times that Kirk doesn't want content that's not Kirk's because it's Kirk's show.
Okay,
right? But they could have done that on YouTube. I agree. However, again, Mike alluded that Steve was going through his personal problems.
Yes.
So you gotta give him a break as well, right?
And one of the weeks was a scheduled week off for everyone.
Yeah.
Right. So the week after Madawaska, I think the week before Saco, Kirk said, and then we'll do a show on Sunday, and then it was going to be through Wednesday, and then they're going to be off for the rest of the week and the following week.
Yep.
So,
all right. So
cool.
Are we all pathetic for meeting up and talking to each other? What's the deal?
Well, obviously Adam isn't because he didn't come.
Yeah. Adam is the most pathetic.
He's the least pathetic.
It is 2020. It is not 2002. If this was 2002, yes, we'd be fucking weird. It would be dangerous because one of us would probably try to kill the other. But it's not. I mean, it's normal to meet people online, and when you have things in common, I mean, that's how people socialize. That's a normal way to do it. Now, as Minifans, we are not normal. Let's just put that aside. And by the way, I want to be the first one because Lord knows I highly doubt Kirk listens to the show, but Lord knows if he does, he would make fun of you guys for this. So let me be the first to do it. All right, because now you sound like the Quantum Week boys when they had Kirk on. For those of you who don't know who Kirk is, let me explain what the Kirk Minihenge Network is.
I think you had too much Adderall. I think you didn't pick up on the joke.
No, but I have a lot of pent up aggression from being on the sideline.
Yeah.
Also, he's very happy.
The guy criticizing aggression has aggression.
Yes.
No,
Adam.
I mean, I just think that it's in today's day and age, if we have something in common and we want to just get together and meet new people, where is the problem with that?
I mean, I think there's a lot of
don't do it.
There is a lot of anger from people that don't know the show, and there is a lot of bias from stoolies that don't know Kirk, and they find anything to criticize. And then this guy just saw the speech and said, "That's my opportunity to criticize them."
Yeah,
and to tell them they are loser and pathetic. He doesn't even know the background. He doesn't even know we had met before. Just the fact that he said that, and then he started to backpedal. Right? Because he couldn't support his criticism, and then everyone started attacking him. Yeah. So it's just like if you don't have nothing, and he has
a brother with the same last 4 digits of a phone.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, they both happen to be like kind of baseball fanatics. I'm like, no.
And I think it was Gig or TJ that started digging on old tweets.
Yes,
basically the same tweets on both accounts, right?
Yep.
So it's like, dude, who's the loser here?
Right, exactly.
What's the problem of meeting up? Like we all have something in common, which we all love Kirk, right? Do we all have 100% of the same likings? Absolutely not.
Of course not.
Like we like Kirk, but there are things that we have in common as well. Otherwise, I wouldn't be meeting with you in person. I've met you 3 times already. I talk to Adam we talk to Adam every day basically, and we have pre-calls for this show at least twice a week. It's not like we're forced to it. We like talking to each other. So like just to call us pathetic, that makes no sense.
I mean, I met up with pure jealousy.
I met up with Jason today. I talked to him for about 10 minutes until my son started to freak out. He wanted to go home.
It's pure jealousy.
So I know this was probably on the OG show last night, but I had a TJ Hubbard encounter here in Ocean Park yesterday morning for coffee, and it was so great. First of all, the guy, there's so much more to him that even we know on the show. Yeah. He has a fantastic background and history, the best stories, and he's like 42, I think. But he's real true Maine. He's a true New England guy. Then he came to the house. He saw the wife again. Immediately assessed the property of the house, of course. Hey, you can put a balcony in up here. And he spotted all these things like, he's walking through the house saying, your floor is settling a little bit here. And then we go upstairs. He goes, you got a balcony for an ocean view right there. So it's just a fantastic guy. Also probably one of the luckiest people. And here comes another tangent for me. But when we lived here in Maine, I knew so many people like TJ in the sense of luck, meaning playing scratch tickets, playing Maine lottery. They would spend $150, $200 a week on lottery tickets, where in most other states with a higher population, your odds of winning are far less. But in Maine, your odds are higher because there's only 1.1 million people, even though the pot's not as big, of course. But TJ has won scratch-off tickets and partial lotteries, and he knows other people who won the full lottery. And it's just amazing, because he's a big gambler. And it was so he talked my wife, Lady Snark, and I went out and spent $20 on $4 or $5 scratch offs, and we got nothing, right? No, we got nothing. We lost. But see, TJ will go out tomorrow and spend $100 more on scratch offs, and he'll win. He'll make it all
tangent.
Tangent's over.
All right, we are all pumped.
2 for 2.
Yeah, but hang on though. But Adam, you did miss it, and it was a lot of fun. But LK can tell you. Yep. We talked about Kirk. Most of it was out of concern, but most of the time, and it was only 3 hours, right? LK, from or maybe 5 to 9 p.m.
Yeah.
It wasn't like an all day event.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot.
And it was only about 10 of us, and Gig and Tony and who else was there?
They are part of the 10 of us.
Yeah. So
yes,
it was most of it's just shooting the shit, seeing how things are going. What's up with you? Complimenting each other on
And,
like,
and
you know,
even that guy said, "Oh, all you talked about was Kirk Minifan." I think if I talked about Kirk for 5% of the time or 10 was
yep,
that was it. Now I spent a lot of time talking to your wife
yep.
about like her work, which is something that fascinates me. So like then I had a conversation with Lauren that was sitting next to me. Then I
Lauren
went
was
to the other
fantastic. Yep.
table. No, like why can't we have
I
like
mean,
normal conversations?
Well,
Isn't it
when
possible?
when I was
Well-
driving down when I was driving up from Jersey to the Cape, I pulled off exit 2 on 195, Bristol, Rhode Island, and I went to Just Dougie.
There you
And
go.
unfortunately, I was there a little too late. I got there, so it was closed. But again, I wanted to just stop in there for 5 minutes just to buy something, support a Minifan, meet Kevin from Bristol, and just to be able to interact with someone that I in person that I've interacted with online. And
Plus the things you learn about these people. I learned, and I won't dox him at all, but I learned, well, first Ari Minahan's real name, and second of all, what he does. And I won't do it. I won't tell you, but it was LK. You were there. It was nonstop. I was fascinated by what he did, what he does for a job.
It was enough for you to offer both of your daughters, right?
Either one.
He could choose the daughter.
He's getting married in November. Yeah. So I'm like, well, the ring's not on the finger yet. And my wife is saying, one of your daughters is engaged too, and I'm like, quiet, So, but it was and I found that too at Saco and at the pre-show at TJ's buddy's house, right? On the Friday night before Saco. The Minifans are pretty professionally diverse. A lot more women than I assumed. Maybe not so many minorities. Adam, we're going to promote you as our number one person of the Jewish faith.
I'm also Hispanic, so I'm good.
There you go. And LK's our lone Hispanic right now, I think. But they are, you guys too. What we all do is not like, we're not sitting here, pounding nails. Not that that's a bad thing, but I was shocked at how professional some of the Minifans are. Kirk's desk. It was awesome. When I found out what he did, I'm like, you're kidding me. And here he is,
Well, I mean,
you see his tweets.
Isn't that how you started the History Buff show? Because you
found
out what Kirk's death list does?
Yep.
But Adam, like if you go back to the early Corona days, right, where we were doing those Zoom sessions.
Yep.
That's right.
I've got to meet so many people because of that. Like I got to meet you. Remember, you bought my ticket for the Wilbur before I knew you were Adam the Jew. Remember?
Exactly.
And then like we started talking. I was like, hey, you should do Poppy's Kitchen with us. Like because you're good and stuff like that.
Okay, you bought my Wilbur ticket.
Yeah, I bought your Wilbur.
No,
but actually, Adam actually bought the ticket that I had bought, and then we exchanged through Ticketmaster. So we actually doxed ourselves to each other, even before he started calling us Adam the Jew. But also, TJ, that 9/11 story, I learned about that in a Zoom session. So it's the parallel of you talking to people in Saco, right? Because those are off the cuff conversations that wouldn't be happening if we were not like together talking, right?
Right.
So I think that there is
Not
a point that we can definitely find more than one thing in common. Obviously, Kirk's the first, but there's many more that we can find in common and strike friendships. Why not?
Correct.
But anyway,
All right.
speaking of friendships, let's move on to left and right. Right, one of our favorite topics. Yeah.
Oh,
Democratic National Convention 2020.
The DNC.
Breathe. Okay.
It was painful. I had to study. You guys made me study on the call. You guys, by the way, on vacation, we haven't turned the TV on once at all the whole week. So I've been just catching up. I had to do it on the phone, and it was painful. And by the way, I don't care. I'm the same way about the Republicans. They'll be the same way about them too. But this was so bad.
My favorite moment was when that I don't know how should I call her, like numbnuts AOC shows up and say, I endorse Bernie Sanders. How unified is that fucking party by her doing that? She's just a fucking spoiled person. She thinks she can do whatever she wants because she has a belief that some people has as well, but she thinks she can just steamroll through everything. She's so spoiled, and I hope
I mean,
she
I
wins
also don't. I
election
mean,
when
do
she
you think
goes
she
up for
actually believes
re-election.
what she says? Do you think she actually believes what she says, or she just knows that it makes her popular and that
Of
it's the
course
cool thing
not,
to
Adam.
believe?
Have you seen
Right.
any socialist or someone that
Yep.
says they're socialist that are not rich or reaping the benefits of the
Yep.
capitalism?
Oh, it's
Have you
Yep.
seen many?
correct.
I
No.
have not.
Yeah.
You're
So
right.
it's so much hypocrisy, you
I
know?
also think too.
Yeah.
I watched that, and it was pure pandering to the far left because
Mhm.
Yes.
it was Bernie. It was really Bernie's last two primaries, or I should say, last two
Yep.
general elections. He should have been the nominee. Now
Yep.
he won't be the nominee in 2024 because he'll be 82, I believe, maybe
Yeah, but
83.
he's grooming her to be the fucking
Exact.
nominee.
That's
Mhm.
exactly what I was getting to.
Unnecessary.
She was looking at 2024 or 2028. But
Yep.
at that point, the party will be so far to the left that it'll have to be a third party, new to this
LK.
country, or serious third party, I should say.
Oh
I
yeah.
called last
LK,
week.
you said.
I called last week. If they win now, it's gonna be 3 terms
You did
of
say
the
that.
Democrats.
Yep, you did. You did.
You know,
LK,
so
you said a buzzword that I think really just encapsulates what the DNC was, and I think it also I mean, we can connect this to KMS also because I think it's exactly what Kirk always says. I just want consistency, consistency,
yep.
consistency. The hypocrisy of you know Google just the name Google Kavanaugh, and you will see everything about how just horrible he is, and all the articles that came out, the hundreds of articles a day that came out during his affirmation trials and everything,
Yeah.
and or confirmation trials rather, and then you look at the fact that the morning of Clinton fucking speaking at the DNC. The
Unbelievable.
morning he was
That's what I was
speaking,
getting
those
to. Yep.
Oh no,
pictures of him with an
refresh my
Epstein
memory.
girl.
Refresh my memory because I'm not
Okay.
a foreigner.
Hang on a minute.
Wasn't he the president that had a blowjob inside the White House?
He was.
Was
He
that on your
was.
was that on your was
Okay.
that on your citizens exam when you came out?
Oh, okay. So he not only did something that's extremely, you know, illegal.
Yup.
He degraded a woman that
Yup.
Yeah.
worked for him,
Yup.
An intern. Hello.
and he was speaking at the convention.
Yup. And again though, but that
Great.
morning, pictures of him with an Epstein Island girl
I
giving
know.
him a massage while he was in Epstein's airplane hangar. And you're right. His speech was all about how you have to sanctify the Oval Office, and we all fucking know what he did in the Oval Office. I mean, he spent
Unbelievable.
the entire time getting blowjobs from interns.
The disconnect on that, and that was, by the way, after our call, because remember that our call was what, 2 nights ago, and
Yep.
the Clinton thing was last night. So when that dropped, I was like, okay, I'm going to focus on this
Mhm.
because it was the disconnect is so huge, and
Yeah.
it's Trump derangement. And the
All
thing
right, so
is,
can we keep on
they
the
could win. They could win.
hypocrisy? Let's keep on the hypocrisy note here. U.S. Postal Service, right? And you guys,
Where's
you guys are the
BNB?
specialist. You guys are the country specialist. I'm just a foreigner, right?
Yep.
But has the USPS started doing bad and bleeding money the past 3 years? I don't think so, right?
No,
It's been 8 years of Obama administration, 8 years of who was before him?
Bush.
Bush, right? 8 years Clinton, and so on and so forth. That agency has have been problems for a long time, and just now the Democrats decided that's important
Yeah.
to stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
Just now they decide that it's important. How
Yeah.
hypocritical is that?
Well, their position is that they're looking at Trump is starving cash to the post office to not undermine, but more like discredit them in the event of mail-in ballots. Absentee
Mhm.
ballots are one thing, so
Mhm.
it's the mail-in ballot issue.
And
I can
that,
tell you. Go ahead.
and I'm not defending Trump. I think he's doing like I think he's doing that. It's a
Oh, do you?
fucked up
I'm
thing
not
to
sure. I
do.
don't know. Okay.
That he just changed the like they don't call president, right? Whoever is in charge of USPS. He just changed
Yep.
the like what's the
Yep.
I'm gonna call president, but a few months ago, and this guy is very pro-Trump,
Yep.
So I wouldn't be surprised if he's doing that, and it's shitty. And I have I stand that like mail services, it's essential,
It
right?
is, of course it is.
Until 100% of people can communicate in another way, be it
Yep.
like a email or electronically.
Yep.
Postal services is an essential service,
Mhm.
and even if you lose money, it's a guaranteed right to everyone. It's a
Correct.
universal right, right?
Correct.
I bet that back in the day, Telegram or other means of communication were essential services,
Sure.
and then the world moved on, right?
Sure.
But to say just like let's end USPS, let's let other companies come and deliver mail, that's bullshit
Yep.
because companies are interested in uh, profits, right?
Correct.
The
Yep.
USPS lose money by design because they need to
Mhm.
fucking deliver
Yep.
a letter all the way middle of nowhere, Iowa, right?
Correct.
So
Correct.
don't touch it. Make it more efficient. And I think if you compare with other countries, like the USPS is not bad. They completely reinvented this themselves a couple of years ago when they struck
Yes.
deals with Amazon and other companies.
Correct.
USPS is the official delivery company for a lot of other companies,
Correct.
right?
So
Because they saw the trend.
there's a couple of things. 'Cause I can speak to this because it's part of my
Yeah,
job.
you are in the, yeah. You
So
market.
the first of all, my company's interaction with the post office, international, domestic, and military, is they are looking for the lowest price with the best possible service they can pay for that price. So express parcels and letters, they'll pay more because they're charging more, but it had better damn well get there. And of course, your general mail, your junk mail, that's your deferred mail, that's fine. But for the most part, it's subcontracted out to FedEx is a big one that takes the bulk mail and that they air and truck it to postal facilities where it's the final sort is done and then the post office delivers the final mile, right?
Yep.
So that you see a postman, you don't necessarily see FedEx delivering US mail. So they did the deal with Amazon, right? Because we also try to bid on that as well.
Yep.
They deliver the postman who delivers our Saturday and Sunday deliveries for Amazon is not the guy who brings us the mail Monday through Saturday.
It's a different
So
person.
it's a different person because it's a different product, but the post office does it with Amazon. So they do lose money. It could just really for the reason you just mentioned. Okay, they have to guarantee a delivery to any U.S. citizen in the country or outside the country, and that's expensive. That costs money. Now, is it a bloated bureaucracy? Of course it is.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
As is everything else.
Absolutely.
Because mostly because of the pensions and the when the GS-14 level guys, it's a huge pension. So yes, it could be trimmed. Yes, but no, it's an essential service.
Yeah.
The only other thing that I'd add to that is also that just going back to the political side of this is I truly believe it's just it's posturing on both sides. Ultimately, whichever side loses, we all know exactly how it's going to play out. Whoever loses, they're going to claim that there was something going on, that there was something fishy, and that is going to be if as I predicted, Biden wins, that Trump will scream to high heavens about how the postal service is corrupt and how it screwed him. Yep. And if Trump wins, again, the right will completely scream to high heavens about the left. Will scream to high heavens about how corrupt Trump is, and he's trying to privatize it and just destroy the American society as we know it.
Let's see if that does play out. I can first of all it was during the 2016 debate that Hillary Clinton told Donald Trump, "Will you contest the results of this election?" And he said no. And who has contested the results of the election? Hillary Clinton. So I don't see Trump being the front man.
I don't actually believe that Trump wouldn't have done it. I think he absolutely would have contested it.
Oh, I don't think so. I don't.
I
mean, he would have bitched and moaned about it, but he wouldn't have been hanging on like he is, she is now, like a vulture. I don't think
it's
so.
Hard. It's being a Monday morning quarterback.
They
right?
think they think if he loses, they're gonna have to unseat him with military. They're gonna have to go in there with. Come on, he's gonna bitch about he lost. His followers, I think, will be more vocal than actually he will.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think he'll just ride off as who knows, maybe run again in 4 more years.
Like you said, Ed, I don't think it should be next election. I think this election should have a third option because both of them suck, in my opinion.
I think it's true. I think you're absolutely right, but it's been too late. And I know as a new immigrant to our nation, we only have two real parties. Yeah. But a third party is going to happen, and it's going to be sooner than later because the left is being pulled to the extreme. The right is trying to stay in the middle and combat its extreme elements, but they've also been very quiet during this whole thing about their own quote unquote president for 4 years. They haven't done anything.
Yep. So here's the thing, right?
Yep.
My last 2 comments on the convention. First one, one of the first videos was Kamala Harris accepting the nomination. She sounded so drunk or high.
Yeah.
Like I even compared with past videos. Her voice had something different.
Something wrong.
You know,
Yeah. It sounded
she
different
was
to me too.
she was either very nervous or robotic, or she was really drunk or high. So if someone wants to do some digging, go ahead. But my last notes also
And by the way, it's Kamala Harris, not Kamala.
Kamala, okay.
The accent is on the
Sure.
first M or the first syllable.
My last comment on the convention. Wasn't she again, right? New guy here. Wasn't she like a year ago calling Biden a racist, and he
Yeah.
didn't approve, like he
I mean,
wasn't busting the future of the
that's what I
nation.
said last
He
week. That's
sucks.
exactly what I
He
said
wouldn't
last
be a
week. That
good president.
yeah, that he's a racist, that he's a rapist, that he's
Yeah,
every,
she
yeah,
believes
I mean,
she believes his accusers.
yeah,
And now she just like absolved him from everything.
and
That-
like we said, nobody will bring it up. Nobody will ask her. It'll just be a cakewalk from here.
And by the way, I hate these conventions going back, since I was a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
They used to be much more important. So I don't care if it's the Democrat or the Republican convention. But and we touched on this last week. You can't sit, the three of us, if we were three nominees in a debate, and I'm calling LK, your work was crap. You put people in jail that shouldn't have been in jail. Oh, and Adam, you let people out of jail that shouldn't be in jail. And then what? 6 months later, we all gather at a convention and we all like hold hands and like, yay, I'm supporting LK. It's like what?
It's like 2016, right? When Trump won the nomination, and everyone like Ted Cruz and everyone like supporting him, like, hey, you guys were fighting, almost ripping each other's head,
pretty viciously.
Yep. Exactly.
Because Trump did throw low blows at those guys,
It's crazy. But
I wouldn't have been able to forgive him.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. But guys, let's wrap up the political talk, and let's do something new here and actually end the YouTube video and
Thank you,
say
guys.
goodbye to YouTube, and say, if you want to hear the rest of it and hear us talk about the California blackouts, check us out on DEC's RSS feed. And yeah, so
all aboard.
goodbye YouTube.
All aboard.
YouTube.
Choo choo.
Bye.